Next stop, Chicago Junction.
Yes, it is time for this month's broadcast of Chicago Junction, the program that needs my glasses on.
We're probably hidden underneath the script.
Oh my God.
What a show, what a show.
It's going to be a great night.
Yes, it's the program that takes you through the wonderful world of trains.
When you can see them.
Yes. With help from our panel of experts.
Oh, yeah, right.
I'm your announcer, Brian Ballou, and here's our boss, the head of the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, and Chief Electrical Engineer, Mr. John DeVita.
Well, thank you very much, Brian, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Chicago Junction from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Wednesday, April the 12th, the year 2023. Today, the panel will be talking about railroads and model railroads. And now to start today's broadcast, here's our announcer, Mr. Brian.
Well, thank you, John. Yes, my panel member and somehow erstwhile host, and they still leave me here.
What is he talking about?
I didn't back up far enough. Anyway, I am a rail fan. I belong to several museums.
He's a museum himself.
Well, at least I'm still standing. And I play with trains, O-gauge, garden railways. And I also am an OLI volunteer, Operation Lifesaver, and trying to talk into people to stop playing chicken with the trains. And to my right, I have Ron Messner.
Hi, I'm Ron, and I'm into garden railroading. And now that the weather is broken, I've got the itch to get my railroad up and running.
Dave DeRuska, and I am a former locomotive engineer, retired now for 10 years. And I am past vice president of the Black Hawk chapter of the National Railway Historical Society, and the chief mucky muck of Chicago Railroad History Month. Remember, October 24th of this year is the 175th anniversary of the operating of the Pioneer locomotive and a trainload of dignitaries out west to set off the great railroad mania that became Chicago. And I also do our Facebook page.
Hi, this is Doug Kenyuk. I'm a rail fan, N-scaler, model railroader, adjunct professor at Wright College, and an officer in the Railroad and Short Lines Club of Chicago.
Ooh.
All done.
That's great. Well, everybody has a little bit of something to talk about. I'll start it off. EIA, U.S. electricity from renewables surpasses coal for the first time. Last year, U.S. electricity produced from renewable energy sources surpassed electricity generated by coal for the first time, according to data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration. In 2022, U.S. electrical power produced 4,090 million megawatt hours, of power generated from wind, solar, hydro, biomass, and geothermal surpassed coal-fired generator and electric power sector for the first time last year. EIA announced that on March 27th. Renewable generation surpassed nuclear generation for the first time in 2021 and will continue to provide more electricity than nuclear generation in 2022. The share of coal-fired generation decreased from 23% in 2021 to 20% in 2022 as a number of coal-fired plants were retired and the remaining plants were used less. Natural gas remained the largest source of U.S. electricity generation last year, increasing to 39% share of U.S. generation in 2022 from 37% share in 2021. Combination wind and solar share of total generation increased to 14% in 2022 from 12% in 2021. Hydropower generation remained unchanged at 6%. The shares for biomass and thermal sources remain unchanged at less than 1%. Train transport nearly 70% of coal delivered in the United States for at least part of the way from the mines to consumers, according to the EA. Brightline, good old Brightline in Florida, is still pissing them off. I love it. Brightline tests fastest train at 130 miles an hour. The train,
How many pedestrians is that per mile?
don't know. They keep cutting them damn fences. Or cutting paths through parks.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Private city intercity railroad Brightline says it became the fastest passenger rail service in the southeastern United States this week after its train reached 130 mile an hour testing on its Orlando Cocoa route in Florida. Company broke its previous record of 110 mile per hour and now set last year during testing through Martin and St. Lucie counties in Florida's Treasure Coast. Brightline officials said in a press release, Brightline is testing the 35-mile corridor between Orlando National Airport and Cocoa, Florida, in preparation for Orlando's station opening later this year. The journey between South and Central Florida will take about 3 hours, Brightline officials said. Brightline trains are required to test faster than planned speeds. Company officials said once operational, the trains will travel at 125 miles per hour. The train sets are powered by 2 locomotives, one on each end, that are 16-cylinder, 4,000 horsepower Cummins engines, diesel-electric engines that are compliant with U.S. Environment Protection Agency's Tier 4 regulations. Siemens Mobility built the trains at its manufacturing plant in Sacramento, California. Meanwhile, Brightline has launched revamped versions of its Bridge Schedule app and site to provide mariners with real-time information about the Florida East Coast Railway, Brightline rail bridge openings and closures along the New River in downtown Fort Lauderdale. The revised app and website will be more user-friendly and provide more accurate information based on data of train GPS data. Brightline has also said in the press release, users can plan their trip along the waterway knowing when the bridges will be open and closed. Brightline West. Trade union sign MOU. Brightline last week announced it signed a memorandum of understanding with the state Building and Construction Trades Council of California, SBCTC, and the Southern Nevada Building Trades Union, SNBTU, to ensure that the private intercity passenger company's future high-speed rail line between Las Vegas and Southern California will be built with unionized labor. SBCTC is California affiliate of North America's building trade unions and represents 157 affiliated unions from 14 different construction crafts, 22 local building trade councils, and 125 affiliated apprenticeship training committees. In total, SBCT has nearly 500,000 members, and about 70,000 of which are apprentices, Brightline officials say. SNBTU is an alliance with the craft unions for highly skilled and productive construction labor, representing 14 local labor unions across the Las Vegas region. Brightline officials said the alliance is made for thousands of workers, including iron workers, insulators, and electrical workers. The future line will be dubbed Brightline West, will be 218 miles long along Interstate 15, and I'm going to want to go out there and see that, especially going up Cajon Pass. With trains capable of speeds of up to 200 miles an hour. Southern California end of the line will be located in Rancho Cucamonga, where riders can connect directly with Metrolink trains. A station will be built in Hesperia, California, in addition to one in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, Brightline's Florida operation is seeking Federal Railroad Administration certification of a positive train control safety plan and system. Brightline's also asking for approval of its inoperable electronic train management system as a mixed PTC system. FRA will consider comments on the application until May 8th, according to publication in the Federal Register. Well, at least somebody's going ahead. And they're not having problems getting their cars built. And the trains and going.
And where are they being built?
Sacramento.
Oh, okay. Thought you were going to say China.
No, not yet.
Surprise, surprise.
But yeah, because the locomotives are actually being built by, since they're using Cummings and or Cats, they're being built by Progressive.
I got a story of terror out west.
Oh, we got terror out.
We got terror.
Well,
Yes, and it's terror that's caused by General Motors. Cruise and Waymo self-driving taxis are terrorizing transit operators.
what?
Yep. Cruise has been operating a fleet of driverless cars in San Francisco for almost a year now. The autonomous vehicles have caused... That sounds like my phone. Excuse me. Call our guest. Hello?
All right, Brian. Back to Brian.
Oh, don't you have anything?
Oh, yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, give some of it.
Well, first of all, we have a new short line in the area. It's called the Rochester and Erie. Does business as Fulton County Railroad in Indiana. Runs between Argos and Rochester. It was formerly serviced and switched by Elkhart and Western. They got tired of them, I guess, and couldn't get a better deal. Who knows? Something came up. It was an advertisement about somebody becoming the vice president of this company called PTSI Transportation. But what caught my eye was this person's going to be the project manager for something called Route Learning System. Now, I had to go pull it up, read it a little bit. Route Learning System is a multimedia training program to familiarize locomotive engineers, conductors, and rail transit train operators with the physical characteristics of their route. Okay, there's tracks following. It was first used by Belt Railway of Chicago, and now it's being used by New Jersey Transit, Hudson Bergen Light Rail, San Jose Light Rail, and Indiana Harbor Belt, and a few others. And it's also gone worldwide. So that was the big news there.
Yeah, that was a call, I guess.
Okay.
I gave him a wrong number.
Oh. 588-2300 didn't do it, huh? All right, Dave, back to you.
Oh yeah, I was talking about Cruise and Waymo. So the driverless vehicles have caused numerous delays for the city's public transit system. Dash cam videos show the orange and white branded cars interfering with bus and light rail routes via unexpected stops, ill-advised turns, and other illogical actions, as first reported by Wired on Monday. The report follows a recent collision involving a Cruise car and a San Francisco public bus that led to a software-based recall earlier this month. Cruise's driverless cars operated as a subsidy of General Motors.
That sounds like regular California drivers, though.
They're gonna get rid of public transit by hook or crook. We got rid of the streetcars. And similar robo-taxis operated by Alphabet-owned Waymo caused at least 12 reported incidents involving San Francisco's Municipal Transit Agency. There are things inside. They have video of cruise cars blocking the light rail track, cruise cars stopping in front of buses and trains, driving head on into vehicles. Passengers actually being injured.
Yes. If I
So.
lose your call back, will you?
Oh, you know what? We're ready, John. If you wanna. Now we have a call-in guest. Are we ready?
Yeah.
I yield the microphone.
Yeah, put him through.
Okay, he's on.
Dave.
Dave, are you there?
Hello?
Nope.
Did we lose him? Okay. Well, that's it for Waymo and Cruise.
But it sounds like those Waymo cars are driving no better, just as good as California drivers. You know, I don't see what the problem is here.
Public transit is having problems. Mass transit systems in America face post-traumatic pandemic fiscal cliff. Less people are riding the trains, and the government funding, pandemic funding, is disappearing now. So the cities are trying to figure out where they're going to find the money to help subsidize the losses. The Chicago Transit Authority has 54% as many riders as it did in 2019. As of mid-March, Los Angeles Metro's average daily ridership so far this year was 51% of 2019's, and BART is just 40%. Fewer people are going to work. They're they're doing remote working, so it's a big problem.
All right, speaking of remote, he says he's online. Dave. Hello. Nope.
Are we having tech?
Hello, Dave?
I don't know what happened.
Keep going.
Okay.
Due to technical difficulties, we're going to keep going.
I could sit here and read this whole 5-page article, but I'm not going to do that. What else we got here? Big news.
Are you still there? I'm having trouble getting you on the air. Just be patient for a minute, will you, sir?
The Metro Union Pacific Cold War is over.
You read that.
Yeah.
What does this mean for commuters? Well, probably less shooting between Metro and the Union Pacific. Following the Union Pacific's long, bitter stalemate with the Metro commuter rail system, which included Union Pacific refusing to have its conductors collect fares on Metro lines as operated, a peace treaty has been reached. I guess they probably had doves flying up when that happened. On March 30th, UP announced that it started the process of transferring its Chicago area commuter rail operations to Metra. But the UP made no secret of wanting to get out of the commuter rail business when this all started, something that Metra resisted. The grudge match resulted in multiple lawsuits, with the court eventually siding with the Union Pacific. According to the Union Pacific press release, Metra will take over UP's responsibilities for staffing, operating, and maintaining, and Union Pacific employees currently responsible for handling these duties will become Metra employees. I'll bet you they're thrilled about that.
Ooh.
I don't have to go work freight.
They don't have it, you know. They're not even being given a choice.
They might. You don't think they'll give them an option?
Sure.
If they want to go?
Let's see. You want to stay with the company? There's a station up in Montana that you can work, or you can go to the middle of New Mexico, or you can go to Metra.
I'll go to the middle of New Mexico.
The transition will begin in the third quarter of 2023, with Metra fully taking over service by winter, early spring of 2024. Both Metra and the UP described the transfer as seamless.
Yeah, let's see. When they came, how seamless it was.
Yeah, right. They held all the commuter trains for the freight
1985.
trains. I keep on hearing clicking in the background. Are still we working on it? But there are still a few issues that need to be sorted out, including how Metra will use currently Union Pacific-owned rail yards, which happens with the Union Pacific-owned Metra stations, and some other legal intricacies involved in transferring employees from one company to another.
Try it now.
Dave? Hello?
I hear nothing. He's working feverishly back there with the wires. Let's see. You think the BNSF will be next?
Probably. Because they'll probably sit there and watch how much trouble UP went through, laughed, and say, okay, now we'll do it the right way.
Yeah. Me Too. It's the Me Too issue.
I don't know how much freight traffic is on the BNSF between Chicago and
A lot.
Aurora?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, lots.
East
Yeah.
of Aurora, too. They still go into, what's the yard in Berwyn?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, but again, how much is freight traffic now is coming down the OC and the W lines? I mean, once you get close to the city, there's none.
Yeah, well, the freight traffic from the North Line, I don't think there's really any North Line traffic.
There's no
anymore.
North Line, and the little bit that goes out the Northwest Line goes around the airport and out.
Yeah,
Most of it's just going out the West Line.
Yeah,
And they already
so-
put 3 tracks in, so
right. So,
keep going.
in subsequent statement, UP emphasized that it does not use its own employees to operate or maintain passenger operations anywhere in the 23 states.
That musical interlude was brought to you by...
I'm having trouble getting me on the air service. I might have to do this next month. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, this thing stopped working on me.
Going.
I'm sorry, sir.
Legal proceeding, da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
What the Metro transfer means for Metro, what the transfer means for Metro commuters.
Yeah.
Metro
Okay.
spokesperson Michael Gillis told Streets Blog that service transfer negotiations have been going on since the fall of 2022. Explained that the two entities are also discussing legal and real estate aspects on the separate track. It is anticipated that those negotiations will be resolved after many of the logistical aspects of the transfer have been completed. Conflict between passenger and freight trains is an issue everywhere except the Metro Electric District.
I'm sorry, sir.
Metro's on-time performance shows that those conflicts increase as the number of freight trains increase, regardless of who owns the track and operates trains. While Union Pacific Northwest and North Line have relatively few trains, the West Line is a busy freight line. Another issue happens that the train stations are still owned by the UP. In the fall of 2021, the railroad announced that it was considering a deal to sell 41 stations it owned to three lines to a developer, but it gave all the municipalities where the stations are located to buy them first. Oh, that's nice. You tell the town, oh, we're going to sell this to a developer. Do you want to buy it? You got 2 weeks to decide. Gillis said only 2 municipalities took the UP up on his offer, and the railroad still owns the remaining stations. He emphasized that under our current agreement with the UP, any UP property sale may not impair commuter services. Gillis said that many specifics, including how Metro will use the Union Pacific-owned rail yards the railroad currently uses to store and maintain the trains, will be decided as part of the second track negotiations. As for Union Pacific engineers, conductors, maintenance technicians, and other employees working in commuter operations, the two railroads' labor relation team are currently working out the details of the transition. But in general, Union Pacific employees will get the chance as to whether they want to stay with the freight railroad or move to Metra. Union Pacific employees will be provided with the opportunity to pursue employment with Metra in accordance with agreements Metra negotiates with the unions. So there we have it. And welcome, Ron. Yeah.
That one's working.
They got it turned on, that's the thing.
Talking to one of them so we can hear you.
Oh, look, nothing.
Nope.
Railroads say, regulators say railroads must examine how they build trains. Federal regulators called on railroads Friday to evaluate their placement of rail cars and locomotives, particularly in long trains, citing the rise in derailments in which the makeup of the train is a leading or contributing factor. The Railroad Administration laid out steps for railroads in a formal safety advisory that federal transportation agencies have issued to enhance safety in response to February 3rd derailment and chemical spill in northeast Ohio. Railroads must prioritize proper train makeup to maintain safety, prevent accidents, and optimize train performance, according to the advisory signed by FRA Chief Safety Officer John Carl Alexi. The order does not force railroads to act, but is part of an effort by the federal government to tighten train safety after the Norfolk Southern train derailed, burst into flames, and spilled flammable gas in East Palatine, Ohio. Nothing about the beer that was spilled out west.
They're not complaining about that?
No, nor the guy in the rowboat that went up there and got cases of Coors. Passed up the Blue Moon and was drinking Coors. Shows you where their brains are.
You gotta get it. You gotta get the.
See, derailments happen in the sag between ascending and descending grades with short, empty rail cars designed to ship coil steel being the first to derail. Buff forces peaked at the downhill portion as the train ran in, causing derailment of cars 70 to 72 and subsequent pileup. So obviously, if you're not handling your train properly, you're going to derail it. So, and then the FRA and the Association of American Railroads is very upset because the federal government is requiring the railroads to have two-person crews on the trains. I'm watching this fandango here of
We can still hear you.
it's more interesting to watch what's going on at the table.
3 mics, no waiting.
Yeah. The AAR said there is no safety justification for the federal government requiring 2 people in the cab of the locomotive. It's been proven that commuter trains operate just fine without an extra person in the cab.
What about those other 3 guys behind them?
What's up, John?
How you doing?
Good. We have a guest visitor here, Chief
I can't get
Engineer.
him on the air today.
Yeah,
I told him we'll call back on
Okay.
the 10th.
I'll give him a call.
Yeah, all right.
I'll talk to him. And that it should be up to the railroads to allow collective bargaining to determine the size of the crews on trains. And let us not forget, what do we call those guys that are going to be in cars driving around?
Expediters.
Expediters, yes. We shouldn't forget the expediters will be out there following trains and making sure that nothing horrible happens. And if it does, they'll drive in the opposite direction.
They'll just put it on automatic and eat their lunch.
Crew size mandates will harm the rail industry's ability to compete in a rapidly changing freight transportation sector and undermine our nation's efforts to address climate change. Now, I don't know how 2 people in a cab have anything to do with climate change.
Really?
Guess that's that extra weight on drivers.
Boy, they got some smart people up there.
Well, this is the apology organization for the American Railroads. And that's it for me. I yield the floor.
You yield the floor.
Ron, you got anything exciting? Got any
You say only 1 person in the cab? That's what they're doing?
who they want? That's what the railroads want.
That's what
Eventually
they want.
No people in the cab.
That's you want to kill somebody? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, the railroads have been pushing for this 1-person crew, It worked out really well in Canada when that train ran away down the hill and blew up that town.
Oh yeah, Burkhart was real excited about that
Yeah,
one.
Mr. Berkey,
That was a shame on that one.
Uncle Eddie.
That's your real smart people.
And he got the Railroad of the Year award after that.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe it was before. I don't know.
I can do a museum report.
Yeah, what's going
Yeah.
on? Museum World.
East Troy is open. That's East Troy, Wisconsin. So if you Google East Troy Trolley Museum, you'll find it there. They've got all their dinner trains starting up next month. But I think they're doing like 2 a month. The average starts about $99 for a dinner train for 1 person. It's 2 hours.
That's a
It's
lot
good
of
ride.
money.
Good food.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but you figure
What you get though is
Well, I'm
usually
aware of, but I'm just making comment.
Let's
Yeah.
just support the museum. I'm sure all that money doesn't
Yeah.
go towards food.
Yeah.
whatever's not spent on the expenses of food goes back into the museum anyway. So, and I'm not sure about Fox Valley, but I know IRM, Illinois Railroad Museum's open now on Sundays up to Memorial Day. Then they open up on weekends. So that's it.
Yeah, let's see. Heston will open Memorial Day weekend for the season, along with the Hoosier Rally. In fact, I think it'll be open at the beginning of May.
You know, Illinois Railroad Museum celebrating their anniversary this year, so they've been doing once a month specials out there. And in January they had a North Shore Day, and they had more people
Really?
than they expected. Oh yeah.
Well, that's good.
And for the finale, they ran a 5-car train.
Well, let's see. National news. Railroading did get some good publicity. Now that their 5 stamps are out. And it's interesting, the stations they picked to do it. The big one would be Cincinnati Union Terminal, which is the biggest field call radio you've ever seen. San Bernardino, San Bernardino. Their station was picked. Also, the Richmond downtown station. And then, of course, the Point of Rocks station on the old B&O. And it's interesting, they have one more. They decided to get Pennsylvania involved in here. And they have one from Tamaqua. There, which is being used, was one of the stops when they were doing the steam specials and even with the RDC cars trips and all. But it is the only station that does not have Amtrak. And
I'm surprised they didn't do the one in Chattanooga.
yeah, I mean, well, you've got a lot of good ones you could
Yeah.
pick. I mean, Grand Central.
True.
Or they could have did L.A. Union Station, last one built. And
Detroit, the one that's under construction.
Huh?
Detroit, the one that's under reconstruction.
yeah, you got that from the Michigan Central.
Yeah.
That's
They need Gary Union.
But you were
There's
talking.
actually a group that's working to quote unquote rehab that station. Gary.
Oh yeah. Well, we were talking about the different trains coming up, starting up with your dinner trains and such. Well, there is, some dinner trains that aren't, but they got some unique ones that are going up. Starting with the Heber Valley Railroad in Utah. Heber, Utah.
The Heber Creeper.
Yep, the Heber Creek.
Rode that.
It's time to channel your inner diva. Start belting out the Broadway standards. This 90-minute round trip nightly includes a carload of other folks indulging in sing-alongs of popular Broadway musicals, like The Phantom of the Opera, Hamilton, Les Miserables, and more. And to deepen the experience, please wear the costume from your favorite show, and you'll hear the live music and play trivia and have a chance to buy limited concessions on board. Bring your pitch pipe and a healthy set of lungs.
And your earplugs.
And yes, you can go online and read more. Okay, in Sacramento, to help compete with the Napa Valley Wine Train, one that'll get you sober, the Boba Tea Train, running out of Sacramento. Settle onto a train trip for 1.5 hours. That includes boba tea tastings, either in an open-air car or an indoor car. To accompany the tea, you can also order handmade dumplings, mochi donuts, and for a savory sweet experience. And for those of you who don't enjoy bubble tea, adult and other beverages are available for purchase. One car has been set aside as a moving market, a small marketplace, which around 5 vendors selling anime T-shirts and other fun baubles.
Just what we need is another T-shirt.
Of course. Hey, see, I
don't have any anime T-shirts yet.
I bought a Ben and Jerry's T-shirt the other day, so I shouldn't complain.
Okay, this one, the next train is Race the Cog. Since Mount Washington made news of breaking the record again, being the record holder for the coldest at 108 degrees below zero, you can race the Cog Railway going up. Honestly, we can't think of another ride in which the train you're on is likely racing runners on foot. You have an easy end of the bargain as spectator, while the race the car competitors sweat just outside your window.
Collapse.
There are 3 waves of runners and plus 3 rides, and the race is only 2.75 miles. Problem is the 3,500 feet to gain going up, and the big boulders that are in the path, and the fact it can be sunny and warm at the base, but snowing on the summit. Oh well, you're on the train. Let's see.
That don't sound like fun.
Oh, if you're on the train, it is. You're laughing at the yo-yo out there.
Well, yeah, if you're on the train, of course. But
Okay. The number 4 was the Great Basin Star Train in Ely, Nevada, on the Nevada Northern Railway. Here in the Nevada desert, you find some of the darkest skies in the lower 48 states, which makes stargazing such a wonderful proposition. Even better, on board you will be the Great Basin. There will be National Park's dark rangers who know the night sky and will interpret it for you. Oh, they're doing astrology too then, I guess.
Oh, see that light there? Yeah, that's supposed to be Venus, but we think that's something going over to Area 51, so don't look at it.
Dark Rangers. Dark Rangers are stormtroopers.
You'll leave.
You will not look at that star.
Do
not
they
a
put
star.
chairs in the coal cars or something so that you can look up?
Yep,
That's
yeah,
what it is.
Yeah. You
Or flight
leave.
cars.
You leave town pulled by a vintage diesel locomotive.
whoopsie
Just
doopsie.
around sunset, and you can watch the sun sink slowly in the west as you ride. This incredible ride often sells out a year in advance. So grab your tickets when you can.
Probably too late.
And then we have the Lobster Roll Express
Now that sounds interesting.
in Belfast, Maine, on the Belfast and Moosehead Lake Railroad. This one sounds like heaven, more than any of the others to us. A ride through the beautiful evergreens of Maine, with a lobster roll in your hand, and then, soon thereafter, in your mouth. Could there be
Where else would you put it?
Could there be a more perfect train?
Is that a lobster roll you're holding, or are you just glad to see me?
This is a 1.5-hour ride out to Utility Pond, where you can get a box lunch with a lobster roll, potato chips, the standard cookie, and drink. Then you ride through the woods, return sated. Oh, we get the train robbery experience. History geeks unite. It's a chance to experience the old-fashioned train robbery. You'll be on board a valuable shipment. Apparently, the U.S. Marshals were there to protect it, yet the hole-in-the-wall gang might outwit the law and hold up the train just like in the Old West. Looks like fun, costume reenactment with outlaws trying to shoot open the locked treasure box. Gun parts happen to fall off the train. Whew. And this is on the Florida Railroad Museum. Oh, here's one. This next one's in Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh boy.
Hoodoo Choo Choo, Anchorage, Alaska. The Hoodoo Choo Choo is an Oktoberfest excursion that's fun to say and includes great local beer, food prepared by university culinary students, incredible views of this round-trip ride from Anchorage to Neenah, Ninana. The Hoodoo Brewing Company, based out of Fairbanks, crafting classic German, Belgian, English, and American-style beers, offers 6 half-pint tastings on board.
Ooh.
And you get to keep it in a commemorative glass.
Oh, wow.
The ride lasts for 4.5 hours. At least you're not gulping it down. And you must be 21 to join.
That leaves Dave up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a bit over 21.
I was reading about
What time of the year is this again?
what Oktoberfest.
Oh, October.
It's an Oktoberfest excursion. But then again, we can go and look more, and maybe they do have some other times they run. Just like the Colebrookdale Railroad. It happens to be a branch line from the Reading Company, and the track goes from Boyertown to Pottsville, or Pottstown. And
So is this the
connects
pot
with-
train?
Sounds good. So
All
far.
right.
Well, it's a speakeasy
You're,
train.
you're going to be on that train.
Oh, you better believe it.
Well, this is the speakeasy train in riding out of Boyertown. You need a password to sneak onto the train, speakeasy train, which travels back in time to the Prohibition era, Roaring Twenties. Only ticketed passengers get the password. Inside, musicians play Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong jazz numbers, while you indulge in hors d'oeuvres, specialty Prohibition drink, dessert, champagne toast, and if you need a cigar to top off the night, you can purchase them separately.
Are you supposed to dress for the occasion?
Probably. You probably wouldn't be the only one. And this ride is 3 hours round trip. Gatsby would have loved this excursion.
How much?
Hmm?
How much?
How much?
Gotta go online and find out.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
You only did half of your research. What's wrong with you? You have to have the whole thing there.
I wish I did,
Well,
but I missed a lot of things.
Closer to home, Pullman is
If you
again
have to
having
ask,
their
You can't afford the ride.
Pullman is again having their railroad days. I believe they're in May
Mm-hmm.
this year, and they will again have the historic Pullman cars up on the Metro platform for people to walk through. The Pullman admin building will be open, and they just opened up a new coffee house there
Oh.
that was in the process of being opened up last year, and now it's completely opened. So, it's something closer to home and learn a little bit more about Pullman.
Yeah.
Do you know if the Lionel Group is going to be there again?
They're going to have to find somebody to take.
Kevin's place, right?
Yeah. So, but I will ask them when I go to
Yeah.
see the club, because I'm doing in June. I'm doing the OLI. Okay, let's see. Castaway Caboose, Durban, West Virginia. The line from Durban to Cass has been rebuilt. It's only taken how many years? But the Castaway Caboose isn't just on Durban. It also they have 2 sidings going up the hill on lookout points, and they got cabooses up there that you can sleep in.
Just like the good old days of railroading,
Yeah.
when the crew got on the caboose and went to sleep as soon as they left the yard and woke up when they got to the destination. Yeah, my favorite was when I'm coming back from Milwaukee on a freight train on Northwestern, and we bypassed the train, and they called me and they said, "You got one about 2 ahead of the caboose that's smoking really bad. What's up with your crew?" I said, "I don't know." So I put the jammer on and woke him up.
Okay.
Here comes the slack. You awake? What are you doing up there?
Okay, let's see. The Mardi Gras Limited in Calera, Alabama. The Heart of Dixie Railway Museum. The Mardi Gras actually began in Alabama, not Louisiana. And this ride captures all the festivities that very special Tuesday, dressed in purple, gold, green, and enjoy a 1.5 mile round trip to Ozan Winery and Distillery's tasting room, where you'll sample Yeller Hound spirits and wines paired with traditional Mardi Gras cuisines, the small bites, the bourbons and baguettes kick in when you get a taste of each as well.
Bigots or beignets? How's it spelled?
Well, okay, if it's beignet.
Beignet.
B-E-
I mean, I imagine there's...
B-E-I-G-N-E-T-S.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there are bigots down there, too, but...
I said baguettes.
No.
Beignets.
Well, that's a nice way to say bigot.
Yeah, that's true.
Bigot.
Had them Sunday.
And then we got a copycat here. Stargazer train, Santa Fe, New Mexico. One night every month. For just one night every month.
That sounds kind of risque.
Historic Pullman train cars transform into a rolling observatory with champagne and live music. Yeah, they'll see stars.
Not much observing going on there.
Oh, yeah, right.
Let's go look at the stars. Nah.
And the professional astronomers narrating tales of the dark skies. At the Callisto Basin overlook, passengers go out in open flatbed cars to access telescopes aimed at the best constellations and planets viewable that night.
I hope they stop the train when they do that. Be kind of hard. Like,
They roll through the city. There's one right there. See the window.
Which one? I just missed it.
Actually, it's all them telescopes, when you pull it away, then you have the flecks around the eye. One night is selected to optimize conditions to see the stars and planets. Litchfield Hills barbecue and whiskey special, and that's in Thomaston, Connecticut. Eat yourself silly, also drink yourself silly. It's easy on a barbecue and whiskey special. The excursion lasts for 3 hours, including 1.5 hours in transit. Your ride includes multiple tastings of high-quality whiskey and bourbon, along with barbecue served at the Bad Dog Brewing Company.
See, they liquor you up. They charge you, liquor you up, and then when you get back, oh, by the way, pay up, you forgot. Okay.
Beautifully restored, a 1901 brick firehouse in Torrington. Bad Dog Brewing is a small batch craft brewery. Their drinks have been available for purchase as well. You must be 21.
No.
And last but not least,
Yay!
Platform 18, Phoenix, Arizona. Century Grand. Okay, so the train doesn't actually move.
Oh, really?
And you get you so drunk you can't tell.
Maybe they rock it.
Yeah, they rock the train.
They rocked it.
Yeah, a bunch of peasants rocking it.
But it provides an immersion. Oh, it's an immersion journey. 1.5 hour journey. You depart from Platform 18 on a 36-seat Pullman-inspired train car inside of Century Grand, a building that with 3 different immersive cocktail bars. You watch a fictitious 1930s railroad tycoon and bootlegger run his liquor through the Louisiana bayous in a theater adventure with audio, lighting effects, motion graphics, even haze and smoke, all the while enjoying vintage cocktails from the 1930s and 40s.
Yeah, the more you drink, the better the immersive experience gets.
The more you drink, the better you feel.
Otherwise, it's just lame.
Oh.
You don't have to go all the way out to where you said for that one that races the bicycles and the runners.
Yeah.
Because you can just go right up here to South Ocean, Fox Valley, where they built the bicycle track along the entire railroad. So the train doesn't, I think, do more than 10 miles an hour. So it's always getting passed by people running or the bicycles because the path is right next to the tracks now.
But yeah, it's still interesting.
Hey, we talked about our display on the table here today.
Oh, not yet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, let's go talk about it.
Well, I had bought one in several years ago, and it was stealing cows.
A Martian spaceship.
Yep.
Hauling cows up. And now it's hauling up
Jeeps.
a Jeep.
Yes, they're
Hey,
the Martian Expedition Forces.
that guy with the red eyes keeps staring at me.
Be careful over there.
But yeah. And then, you got your guys, your tank.
You got your tanks and your...
Trying to get a good shot there.
It's going to be hard to miss.
Yeah, well, we that's what we're trying to figure out.
And Godzilla's going to be joining later on.
Yes, he is. I'll make sure you guys get it.
Yeah,
Shot of him.
Well, we got a picture. I hope we get a picture of this.
yeah.
But
Ron
yeah,
took pictures. You can post them on Chicago Junction. Yes, be sure to check out our Facebook page, Chicago Junction, where this and all other exciting things appear.
Oh, definitely.
Actually, I took a movie before now. I'll take a picture.
You can post the movie, too.
I'll try to.
It is that time, isn't it?
It's that time.
It's that time. We've had adventures tonight.
Sounds like
Call in people that can't call in, and
We need that expediter. That's
yeah.
we're going to have a sign made. Expediters.
Expediters welcomed.
He got me
it's
hungry. All those dinner trains.
oh yeah, thirsty too.
Well, want to roll them? Roll them. Yep. Crew in the caboose fell asleep.
As our express comes into the terminal, we want to thank you for joining us on our journey through our wonderful world of trains. Chicago Junction is a production of the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network and can be heard on the web on our Facebook page, where you can listen to tonight's broadcast and all of our past episodes. So you can also sample some of the other fine programs being offered. Until next month, when we journey to Chicago Junction, I'm your announcer, Brian Ballou, saying happy rails to you.
You have been listening to Chicago Junction on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Wednesday, April the 12th, year 2023. Chicago Junction was produced and directed by John DeVita, and a special thanks to our executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, Mr. John Chikanda. This broadcast was pre-recorded on Wednesday, April the 12th, the year 2023. Until next time, friends, please be safe and thanks for listening.